welcome everybody to this Licensing Act panel. First of all, we've just got a little bit of housekeeping to get out of the way, and item 1 is the election of the chair.
Thank you. I'd like to formally propose Councillor Hunt to chair this meeting.
I will formally second.
And we'll vote on that. Yes, ridiculous, I know, but there you go. Item number 2, are there any declarations of interest?
I will declare an interest on behalf of the three of us. One of the objection letters has come from Michael Payne MP, who is known to all of us, is also a Gedling Borough Councillor, so it's effectively a non-pecuniary declaration.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Are there any apologies for absence? There aren't. And item number 4 is to approve as a correct record the minutes of the meeting held on 28th May 2026. I'll have a proposer, please.
I'll move the correct record.
Thank you. I'll second that. And to the vote. Those 4, 2, abstention. Thank you. Okay, that's the housekeeping done. Item 5, beg your pardon, is a consideration of an application for a premises licence by Asda Express at Arno Vale Road. Okay. The procedure can get a little bit lumpy, so you have to bear with us, but we must follow it, otherwise things get missed out. Okay, so I'm the chair, and these are the other 2 councillors who are going to actually make the decision on everything that's in the papers and everything that we're here today from everyone. Okay. The applicant, would you care to introduce yourself?
Chair, members of the committee, my name is Richard Taylor. I'm a solicitor for Asda. I have with me Lucy Johnston, who is Asda's National Licensing Manager.
Thank you. And the responsible authority is Mr. Buttle. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Terry Buttle. I'm the Environmental Health Officer for Gedling Borough Council. Thank
you. And then there's rather a lot of you to introduce yourselves individually, but I'm assuming that everybody else here is an interested party, but I'm not going to call you interested parties because it's a bit long-winded. I'm going to call you neighbours, okay, or residents. Okie dokie. All right. So the applicant, Mr. Taylor, will present the case, and then at the end of that presentation, if Terry's got any questions, he'll ask them. If the panel's got any questions, we'll ask, and if you have any questions, then you will ask, and then the legal advisor will ask any questions.
Can you ask that they raise their hand?
Yeah, if you want to speak, raise your hand as we go along, and we'll make a note as to what order things go in. Okay, then Mr. Buttle, the responsible authority, environmental protection, will make his report, and the same procedure will apply. Okay. Then the residents will get the opportunity to make their representations. Further questions will follow, and then we will decide, we will retire and make our decision depending upon what we've heard today. So if you'd like to start, Mr. Taylor, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be as brief as I possibly can be. So, as you've said, Chair, an application for a new premises licence for an Asda Express, that's Asda's convenience store brand. And what I need to say from the outset is this is a store for which your colleagues on the planning panel have already granted permission. So they've granted permission for a convenience store with car parking. But there are conditions on that dictate the hours of operation and deliveries. I hope you've already seen at the very last page of the bundle me confirming that whatever happens today, Asda will comply with the terms of the planning permission. Okay. So against that backdrop, then I will deal with the application in 3 parts, if I may. The first is the applicant. Well, that won't take long. The second is the application, what we're applying for, why we're applying for it and the steps to promote the licensing objectives. And thirdly, I'll just deal with the relevant matters raised in the letters of representation. So the applicant. Well, the applicant is Asda, and I hope Asda is well known to the committee. Nearest main store, Arnold. Probably the nearest convenience will be Mapley. Both licensed. No problems operating either. As soon as we put applications in an area, we go to the authorities, we check whether or not there have been any complaints about operation, and they haven't. They operate without any difficulty whatsoever. And Asda itself operates about 1,100 stores in England, Wales, and in Scotland. Company that serves millions of customers a week. And here comes the proud boast. I've acted for Asda ever since this legislation came into force in November 2005, and indeed before that. I have never sat in front of a committee such as yours or a magistrate's court to represent the company in review proceedings or any criminal proceedings relating to the provision of alcohol. And in my respectful submission, that is testament to the quality of the policies and procedures in place, the training that Asda gives its colleagues, to ensure that its premises run without any difficulty whatsoever. And what Asda does is it operates a good neighbour principle. It wants to be part of the community within which it sits. It wants to be a benefit to the community within which it sits and not a burden upon it. It's in everybody's interests that Asda stores operate without any difficulty. And that's what we strive so hard to do. So that's Asda, that's the applicant. The application. The application seeks alcohol sales 24 hours a day with a condition that the store is closed to the customers between 11 o'clock in the evening and 7 o'clock in the morning. And then those are conditions that we agreed with the police. Before this application was even put in, we talked to the police about issues in the area, about what they would expect to see, and these are the conditions that the police asked us for and the conditions that we agreed. Now, these are longer hours than those permitted by your planning colleagues. And the question that I'm sure you're going to ask is, well, why? Why are you doing that? And the answer is, it's an awful Americanism, and I assume it relates to when Asda was owned by Walmart, future-proofing is the answer. Sorry, it's a very comfortable chair. I've sort of leant back. The answer is future-proofing. So, all new Asda convenience store applications are made in this way, and then if the business wants to switch on deliveries or open later than is permitted by your colleagues on the planning committee, it will have to make an application to vary that planning permission. So, if we were only to apply for what we've got at the moment, that's 2 applications. If we do it this way, it's 1. Simple as that. So, again, just coming to what we're applying for and why. This application is not whether Asda can open a shop. That's been decided. Asda could, it was subject to satisfying the planning conditions, we could open, and sell bread, milk, 85% of what we want to sell, probably even 90% of what we want to sell, we can do already. Whatever happens today, we can open that as a retail store. The question that I'm going to ask you at the end is whether Asda can sell alcohol and whether the sale and display on the shelf of the odd bottle of wine to eat alongside a ready meal, or however you want to do it, is that going to cause any issues whatsoever? So, the alcohol range itself limited, but the idea is if you want a bottle of wine, a pack of beers, then you can have it. We'd love to sell it to you. And the Home Office says, doesn't it, that Stop Shop stores and supermarkets should be able to sell alcohol at all times. They're open, and that's the reason we make the application as we do. The steps to promote the licensing objectives, well, is everything you would expect from a responsible national retailer with a spotless track record. So CCTV, staff training, Challenge 25, till prompts. logs, refusals logs, everything's logged. And ASDA also operates internal test purchasing. So internal test purchasing is a test of the colleagues' training. So you're nodding, I'm sorry. Yeah, everybody knows what internal test purchasing is. For those behind me, internal test purchasing is an independent organisation who goes in, sends 18, 19, 20-year-olds into the stores to purchase alcohol to check that they are challenged to provide evidence that they are over 18 and entitled to buy it. And we do that. And it is a disciplinary offence for a colleague to sell alcohol to somebody not challenged. Just moving to dark store operation, because I think this is the most contentious part of my application. And of course, as things stand, not a part we can use because of the planning conditions. But there are questions raised as to how this works. Well, we do it in about 900 stores at the moment, and the idea is everything's turned off, so the lighting is dimmed, there is no public access to a shop, but the shop is manned, and if somebody wants a delivery, then we can service that delivery. Now, we wouldn't be able to do that here because of the planning, but future-proofing and all that. I just want to explain how it works. So this is now a 24-hour society. People sometimes want nappies, bread, milk, whatever it might be in the middle of the night, and we would like to be able to. We do that in many stores. We can't do it here. The stores all operate what's called a dark store protocol, which details how stores trade with deliveries when they're closed to ensure that no nuisance is caused to our neighbours. And as I say, we do it in 900 stores. We do it locally, Mapley, we do it locally, Arnold, and again, it causes no difficulties, there's no complaints from there. So that's what we do. Just to move to the issues, the relevant issues raised in the representations, and of course, I fully understand the concerns of the local residents. We all understand their concerns. But what's not relevant, of course, is traffic and infrastructure, public health, alcoholism, whether it's appropriate, what else is nearby, delivery wagons, the quality of the road surface. I'm just going to concentrate on the issues that are relevant, which are the sale of alcohol. So the first and common representation raised is that this would cause antisocial behaviour. Well, of course, the police have been consulted about this. The police are, of course, your main source of advice on issues of crime and disorder and antisocial behaviour. And the police do not have any concerns about ASDA's proposed operation here through the day, or indeed antisocial behaviour caused by the provision of deliveries at night, because of course that's away from the premises anyway. Road safety, I've mentioned, is not an issue. Need and demand is not an issue. Children walking past and the proximity of schools. Well, that's the same for every convenience store, every pub, every restaurant. You know, children walk past. This is all about responsible retailing. And as we know, ASDA has this this track record, of which it's very, very proud indeed. Beyond that, there's very, very little that we can see that's relevant, but rest assured, and we're open to any questions that the committee wants to ask us, we do operate this good neighbour principle. We are very, very keen to operate our stores without any difficulty whatsoever. And in all of the circumstances, that I think is as much as I can possibly say. I mean, I do get paid by the hour, so I could go on, but I don't think that would help anybody. I have Lucy Johnston here. She's ASDA's national manager, licensing manager. She's in charge of all of them. If you've got any questions for any of us, then we're only too happy to help. Thank you.
Beg your pardon. Thank you very much, Mr. Taylor. Okay, so the procedure then is, do you have any questions, Mr. Buttle, as the Environmental Protection Officer.
My principal concern was the issues of potential nuisance from
Sorry,
noise.
this is just any questions
sorry.
about what
At the moment,
Mr.
it would
Taylor
be
said
just-
before you give your
Okay. Right,
speech.
I just wondered how they would manage any issues with noise or deliveries sort of through the night. So it is potentially, not necessarily alcohol, but you could potentially have sort of a lot of people coming and going at all sorts of hours, making deliveries and picking things up. So I'd just like to know how they would manage any noise or potential antisocial behaviour issues with that, because delivery drivers can be more focused on what they're doing and trying to get their job done quickly, so they're not always considering their neighbours.
No, and absolutely, we absolutely understand that. There is a rider code of conduct that everybody who is going to work for ASDA signs up to, and we terminate anybody, we terminate that, the agreement. We will not use anybody who does not stick rigidly to that code of conduct. It includes the fact that there is no congregation outside. Anybody found to be congregating and waiting, is not there. People are expected to arrive, pick up a delivery and go. Riders or drivers are not allowed to do that. They're not allowed to idle in the car park. Engines, if there are engines, needs to be turned off immediately that they arrive. There is a it's done via the handheld device to say that people are here. Nobody's beeping horns or anything. It is very much, we need somebody, we press the button, somebody arrives, they get handed something and they leave. If anybody, all of these people are also trained, so they all have to have Challenge 25 training, they all have to understand and have training that who they can leave alcohol with and who they can't. We only go to residential addresses or business addresses. We can't deliver to parks or any open spaces at all like that. So this is a well-trodden path. This is something, as I say, we do in around 900 locations already, and it works. But the dark store protocol, which I'm very, very happy to share, we don't tend to share in the context of a licence application because, of course, it deals with all deliveries rather than just alcohol sales. And by the time the box is closed, it doesn't matter what's in the box. But yes, you are absolutely right, and we are only too well aware of the potential for it, and we do everything we possibly can to manage it.
Thank you. Is there anything further, Mr. Buttle?
One small thing. I just wondered why, if there are other stores that do it, why they would perhaps need to do it from that particular store.
Well, I mean, the answer is we can't at the moment. But as I say, this is about future-proofing. This is whether or not we at some stage go back to the planners, but that is a decision for another committee on another day.
Thank you. Okay, so now we go to the residents. Would you like to raise your hand if you want to speak? If you want to, it's at this point, it's a specific question for Mr. Taylor. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go left to right. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, my name's Stephen Steele. I live on Thetford Close. Hello? Yeah. My great concern is the 24 hours licence. Why do you need a 24 hours licence? But I think now you've explained yourself that the store is not just going to be open between 7 and 2300 hours. It's going to be open 24 hours a day. Am I right or wrong? Because you're talking, sorry, you're talking about people sending for orders, and then your delivery and this and that, they will be sending orders out. So that, to me, is you're going to be working 24 hours a day, but you're only asking for a licence between 7 and 2300 hours. That is my great concern on that one.
Just to be clear, the planning conditions require that the store is only open to the public between 7 a.m., and 10 p.m. So those are the hours that the store will be open to the public. At 10 p.m, the shutters come down, the lights come off, and the store will close. We're getting into what may happen in the future,
Yeah.
but if the planners if we go to the planners at some stage in the future and ask them to change the delivery conditions, the reason that you need a 24-hour license is because if a home shopping order contains alcohol, then the place where the alcohol is appropriated to the contract is the place that needs to be licensed. And we try to do this for all of our stores, the idea being that orders go to the nearest store. A home delivery order right now would go probably to Mapley or to the Arnold Superstore. It's about servicing the customers and getting orders to them as quickly as possible.
Thank you.
I think that to me, it still says then you're going to be working overnight. So there's going to be somebody in the store overnight then, is there?
Yes, as is the case with most stores.
Sorry, we need to be absolutely in order. Okay. I think he has answered your question. The store, it will not be open to the public between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. But there will be staff inside the store servicing the orders in the event that planning permission is applied for and granted down the road. So at this point, we can't go any further with that. We can't answer anything else. Okay? All right.
So that is our grave concern, you see. So there's going to be lots of incomings and goings all night.
Yeah.
And that's bad for the people who live nearby.
So when you come to make your representations, you can do that. At this point, we're just asking questions of Asda. Okay,
Yeah.
You will get your
Well, I thought that
chance
was
to-
a question, actually.
You will get your opportunity. Yes, it was, and he answered it. You will get all of you will get your opportunity to address the panel and tell us why you object to this. But this, said at the beginning, it's very, very sticky, the procedure. Okay, so you've asked your question, and I'm going.
Did you want to just?
Do you want to respond?
Sorry,
to
I was
that?
just going to say that the manning of a store overnight is wholly separate to a license, and even if it hasn't got a license, it is very likely that it would be manned overnight because people will be stocking shelves, security, whatever. So yes,
It's not a it's not a licensed objective. Okay, so may I move on now to the next the lady with the glasses, please? Would you like to introduce yourself, or have I missed you out? Sorry. There were three people that raised their hands. There's the lady with the glasses. Okay.
Oh, in relation to, you mentioned earlier regarding you contacted the police in regard to a possibility of antisocial behaviour. You said they've got no concerns. How do you know that?
well, the answer is that before this application was submitted, I spoke to the police and said, this is what we're thinking of doing. This is what we're applying for. Do you have any concerns? And what conditions do you want? And the police force licensing coordinator, Tracy, said, this is what we'd want and this is what we're presenting.
And if I may, just on a
Can I
similar
just take
note-
your name, please, sir?
Sorry?
Can I take your name?
Yeah, Paul Pete,
Paul Pete.
Thetford Close.
Thank you.
The next question, on a similar note, say you just said to me that you're closing at 10 o'clock in the evening. Just as an example, I'm talking still continuing on antisocial behaviour. Let's say a number of teenagers or otherwise purchased alcohol at 9:45, for example, then went on the park behind the area where the Asda store would be, drinking and causing themselves a problem on the estate, which we're not having at the moment. What would be your answer to that one?
Well, nobody wants antisocial behaviour anywhere. We would not allow, well, I mean, I'm assuming these people who have purchased alcohol have been lawfully sold alcohol. As long as they are lawfully sold alcohol, we cannot do anything once they're away from the premises. It's just the same as if I was to go to Morrison's and buy a drink and then drive subsequently. The Home Office is very clear, isn't it?
Yes.
That individuals are responsible for their own behaviour, and away from the premises, there's nothing a premises licence holder can do.
On the same note, is there like a probation period for when this Asda's built and you're selling alcohol and other things? If antisocial behaviour does kick off through Asda selling this alcohol, what would be your opinion?
Well, the answer is the Licensing Act 2003 has a built-in permanent probationary period, in that if there are ever any problems caused by the operation of licensable activities from any premises, then it can always be called back in front of this committee for a review of the licence to see whether or not those terms need changing. And that's an application that the police, environmental health, or indeed any local resident can make at any time. So the answer is yes.
So it's a watch and wait and see. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir. May I have your name, please?
Yeah, Daniel Pearson, Sunny Home, Greendale Road. Our property will back onto the car park of the building. You spoke very fondly of Asda and saying that you've trained all your staff and everything's working well and you've got things in situation. Can the Asda representative just confirm what the times are for the Asda Front Street store and the Mapley Express store on Mapley Top, the petrol station? Can you just confirm what times they are open, please?
Is this relevant?
So I can confidently say that Mapley is usually open between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. Currently, it is extended their hours till midnight, just due to the football that is going on at the moment. But once that is done, they will be reducing their hours. With regards to, was it the Arnold store
The Arnold store, yeah, the big supermarket.
I will be 100% honest, I do not know their hours off the top of my head, but you will appreciate we do have over 1,000 stores.
So we've lived in Arnold for, well, nearly all my life. That store is open till 10 o'clock maximum, the Asda Front Street store. The petrol station that you took over, which was originally a co-op...
Mr Pearson, that's not relevant to this application today.
No, but what I'm getting at is, why didn't they apply for a 24-hour licence when they took... If none of the stores do deliveries, why...
What other stores do, I don't want to be rude, what other stores do is not what's before this committee today. It's about this application and this application only.
Right,
okay, so everybody needs to confine their objections and the comments and their questions to this application. Okay.
Right, okay.
I think what might be relevant, Madam, is that what we do know, of course, is that the Arnold store has a 24-hour licence, and it then basically doesn't trade all of those hours. So a very, very similar situation to what we're asking for here.
So why don't you trade out of the main store then? Instead of a residential area, why don't you trade out of the main store? Why bring it to our doorstep?
Sorry,
I'm sure you haven't got one on your
doorstep.
doorstep.
You said something, I didn't hear it, Mr Taylor.
Sorry, I said that it was a 24-hour... I mean, sorry, what I said is these are now commercial considerations which are nothing to do with licensing.
Yeah. Again, that's outside the remit of this panel today.
So you've got a store that can trade for 24 hours,
yes,
but you don't trade out of it, and then you want to open another one in a residential area.
Yeah, this isn't a question. This is becoming a bit of a...
Okay, I do apologise. You've already got it in place.
It has,
okay, thank you very much.
Okay. The lady with the glasses, please.
My name's Kelly Charlesworth and I live at Sunny Home.
Thank you, Kelly. Any questions?
Yeah. Where is it? Oh. As you said, that who's going to control all the chaos, what's going to happen, all the behaviour of the teenagers and everything else? Who is going to control it? You says Asda can't control it. I'm sure you did. But who is going to control it?
Again, Kelly, I have to remind you that this isn't once the alcohol has left the store at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, and whatever is decided, is not the store's responsibility. The same as it is for any other premises that sell alcohol. It would then, if there was antisocial behaviour, the procedure would be to call the police, report things to the police, or complain to your local authority, i.e. us, to bring the licence in for review. Okay, so that's This panel cannot deal with that. It's not relevant to this application. Okay. Anybody, any further residents? Have you got anything new? Sorry, I'm going to go left to right. Yes, please, madam.
Yeah, I'm Louise Dalton.
Thank you,
It was a
Louise.
question in relation to the Challenge 24 scheme, which states that it will operate both at the premises and also at the delivery address. Presumably, it's not ASDA staff that are going to be making the deliveries.
As far as deliveries are concerned, that's contracted to third parties, yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Sorry, yes, ASDA uses third-party delivery services, but the people that are used are trained and are required to operate Challenge 25.
And is there any monitoring of that, whether they do actually check whether they're in using the Challenge 25 scheme? Does anybody monitor that?
Yes.
Is that, and are the results in the public domain?
No.
Thank you,
No,
Louise.
Nothing further.
The other lady with the glasses, please.
You've answered the question. You have a 24-hour licensing for the Arnold store. Could you tell us the situation with the Mapley Express unit?
I'm sorry, that's not relevant. What happens at Mapley or Arnold is not relevant to this panel's hearing. We're only concerned with this application that's before us today. I'm sorry, but we cannot consider that. It's not considered relevant within the regulations. Just bear with me.
I'm happy
Would you like to get
we have nothing to hide.
Okay.
Off the top of my head, Mapley has a licence that operates until midnight, and I think 24-hour opening.
Thank you. The lady on the road just behind Terry, please.
Catherine Turner, and I live on Thetford Close. The difference is that we are in a residential area.
Madam, it needs to be, at this point, again, the procedure, it'll all get muddled if we don't do it properly.
Right.
If you've got a question for Mr Taylor, then ask the question. If you want to speak later on, that's absolutely fine as well. Okay, so do you have a specific question for Mr Taylor, for the applicant?
Selling alcohol in a residential area, surely it is different to having an alcohol licence in a commercial area where the Arnold and Mapley stores are located. Is that right?
Yes, of course it's right. We have stores in all sorts of areas. We have it in city centres, in residential areas, and we trade them all the same.
Whereabouts in Nottingham is there another one in a residential area?
I'm sorry, Catherine, this is, you need to confine yourself to what's in the papers, not what is happening in the rest of Nottingham. Okay, as to what's in this application.
Oh, I've only read the application. I haven't seen the newspaper. Yes, I've read that.
Yeah, it's all in here. Okay, the other lady with the glasses, please. What's your name, please?
Hello, I'm Patricia Parker. I live on Greendale Road. My question to Michael is, you talk about having 900 stores. I'm assuming that is for superstores as well as Asda Express stores. How many of those stores have a 24-hour licence, 24/7?
We've got about 1,100 stores. There are about 900 that do deliveries. How many have 24-hour licences? Off the top of my head, I suspect somewhere approaching half.
And of those, how many are Asda Express rather than Asda Store?
We've recently converted the former Euro Garages estate into Asda Expresses. I suspect in England and Wales, of the 356.
Yeah, so we've got 356 that had previously been owned by the EG Group. We also acquired 116 from the Co-op, and we have opened organically, it is approximately 20 additional convenience stores.
So are we saying that you've got approximately 500 Asda Express with 24-hour licences?
Probably not 500 with 24-hour licenses, but 300. I mean, I'm guessing. We can find out, but it's not strictly relevant. But what we can say is many.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So we now move to the panel members and any questions that they might have of the applicant.
Thank you, Mr Taylor. You spoke very, very well. You presented a very good case. But can I just touch on something one of the residents brought up about actually policing the drivers? And I think you admitted they're not going to be employees of ASDA. You mentioned about them turning off engines, not idling in the car park, not congregating, etc. And the Challenge 25. You did seem very brief in your response to that and how it will actually be policed. And possibly how do you police that in other stores? Because that's the great concern, I think, of residents. It's the congregating of people, the noise to local neighbours, particularly at this time of year, probably when you've got the windows open and so on. How would you address that? Because they're not your employees.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it's something we deal with. I've pulled up the dark store rapid delivery fulfilment guidelines. The answer is that the third parties want to work for us. It is in their interest to work for us, and what we do is it's a two-way thing. You only work for us if you meet our requirements. And that's contractual. And we can terminate that contract at any time. So it is in the interests of the delivery person to basically do exactly what we require. Basically, collection of orders upon arrival. Drivers arrive at the store will park their vehicles legally and safely. Drivers will turn off their vehicles immediately to prevent noise disturbance. Preferred partner vehicle choice will be pedal or electric for home delivery services. However, this may not always be possible. Drivers wait inside their vehicles until orders are ready. Will only turn on their vehicles when they're ready to leave. Delivery of orders. Orders will be delivered only to private residential addresses. Upon delivery, drivers park legally and safely. It's all laid out in words of one syllable.
So can I just come back on that one? I personally don't use food delivery outlets.
No, nor do I.
And I, from what I gather, there's probably 3 or 4 national companies now. You talked about terminating their contract. Would that be at national level or would it be at a local store level?
It's an escalating thing. I mean, it's done at a local level. If there is an individual who is not complying with the requirements, then the individual is first spoken to, but it escalates up. If there is ever any evidence of a systemic issue, and then that's when it becomes a national issue. But as I say, and I'm sorry to repeat myself, we are very, very aware of operating in residential areas. We operate this good neighbour principle. We want people to talk to us. If there's a problem, we will deal with it.
Carrying on the theme, actually, it's already been mentioned, but how can you be sure that your deliverers are checking, particularly for age? I think that is a particular concern, so that the kids don't go out to the park.
No, and it's ours as well. Well, I mean, the answer is we do exactly the same with the delivery people as we do with our own colleagues, in that we test them. We test purchase. We make, there are delivery orders made, and people then deliver them, and we check that they're doing it. It's as simple as that.
Thanks, Chair. Again, sorry, probably kind of dealing with the same. There was a question asked about the monitoring of the Challenge 25 upon these deliveries, and you've just said you do test purchases, etc. Who does that monitoring?
A firm called Serve Legal.
And is there facility for example, a refusals book, as you would have in store when operating these deliveries, and who deals with that? Is it a good old paper, or is it electronic, so there's an audit trail to it, etc.?
It's electronic. So in the base, if there is a doorstep refusal, the delivery person basically taps their. It used to be a Palm Pilot. What is it? Is it whatever it is these days? Taps their screen to say I've refused this, and of course, then there is that full audit trail. We know what's been ordered, and we know why. We also know what's been refused. Yeah.
Okay, so now, not yet, madam. She's had her go, hasn't she?
It is actually a question related to monitoring. So we've
Oh,
talked
right, yes,
monitoring
okay, then I'll allow that.
24
Yes.
age, but the gentleman read out a number of specifications about not idling vehicles, sitting in your vehicle, not slamming doors, that sort of thing. How is that going to be monitored?
Well, by the colleagues on site when they arrive, and if there's ever any complaints, we deal with it. Simple as that.
Okay.
So residents would have an opportunity to make representation should that occur?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank
you. Okay.
The great thing about the Licensing Act 2003 is that it is always open to residents to contact the licensing authority, and if there are manifest problems, then we can be sat here in front of the committee, effectively justifying our existence. And what I said right at the beginning is that with 1,100 stores serving millions of customers a week, 21 years nearly of this legislation, we've never been in that position.
Gentleman over there.
Yeah, Gavin Donoghue. Just one question on alcohol. We have enough problems in this country with alcohol abuse already. Do we actually need anybody else to have a 24-hour licence for selling alcohol? It's bizarre.
I'm sorry, this isn't in... Yeah, pardon? Yeah, public health.
This isn't
But
public
it
health.
perhaps should be, but that's
Yeah, but
not...
surely an alcohol licensing thing should take into account everything, including the problem that we have.
That's a statement. Okay, so now it's the turn of the Environmental Protection Officer to put forward the objection or the representation. Thank you. Mr. Buttle.
Hello, yes. My principal objection was, I think you might actually have already covered this, was the potential for noise and antisocial behaviour of the delivery drivers through the night. But to be fair, I think you may actually have already covered that. And so that's all I've got to say at the moment.
I just, in relation to antisocial behaviour order, the applicant contacted the police in relation to antisocial behaviour, but non-criminal antisocial behaviour gets reported to the council. Is that correct?
That would be correct,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
We have got officers to deal with antisocial behaviour issues, yes.
I think the point I'm trying to make is non-criminal antisocial behaviour is a much bigger problem in the area as opposed to criminal antisocial behaviour. And I just wondered what levels of antisocial behaviour, non-criminal, have been reported to the council.
I'm not the antisocial behaviour officer, but to the best of my knowledge, we've had very few in that area recently. But I can certainly check that out.
Yes, please.
Commissioner Borough working with the police on antisocial behaviour?
I don't really think it's relevant because, again, it's out of the area, but Councillor Smith, I think, has a question for Terry.
Okay. Panel members then. Ms Councillor Smith, you have a question for
Yeah,
Mr Buttle?
Mr Buttle, just to clarify, Asda Express has currently got permission, once the store is built, if they build it, to serve alcohol during 7 till 10 p.m. Is that correct? But what you're objecting to not the daytime provision of alcohol, you're objecting to the 24-hour part of it.
That is correct. I've got no problem with them selling the alcohol between 7 and 10. It was just our concern was that their plan was to have deliveries through the night, and the possible noise and associated antisocial behaviour issues arising from that, because as we know, delivery drivers aren't always the most considerate. But I think they've already answered the question that they've got measures in place to resolve those issues.
Thank you. I just want to clarify that's exactly what you were saying.
Mr March? No, okay. Laura? No, okie doke. So now we move on to the residents for them to each make their own representations. I don't want, we could be here for a very long time. So I do need to make sure that you don't duplicate what somebody else has already said. I think the officer had a word outside before you started. So if it starts to get repetitive, I will... or is not relevant. So yes, if it gets repetitive or it's not relevant, then I will stop you. Okay, so again, I'm going to go from left to right. Made a note of your name here, sir. Where are we? Mr. Steele, would you like to speak on this, or have you already selected a spokesperson? No? Okie dokie then. Fire away if you want to speak.
Yeah, I'm strongly really against the 24-hour licence. But Asda have had the same. We're not the only ones that's having trouble with Asda. All over the country, Universal, they've had trouble. So all to do with what we're talking about now. So I'm strongly against it.
Thank you, Mr. Steele. Yes, sir. Do you have anything you'd like to add? Gentleman in the blue.
Just one question on access. Can you confirm where the access will be to the new development?
This would be a planning consideration, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it depends. Shall we pull the... Do
you want to...
It's off Arno Vale Road. There's a new junction.
There's a new junction off Arno Vale Road.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Pearson?
Yeah, so I do welcome the store between the hours of 7 and 10. Never had anything against that. Strongly disagree with the 24-hour delivery service. Strongly disagree with that. I've seen these delivery drivers. I've dealt with them hand in hand. They're not always the nicest people. They're constantly in a rush. And as far as the age check-in thing goes, we've personally had family members where the underage people have used their adult's phone to have alcohol delivered to the house, and they were not checked. They were not checked. That bag of alcohol was handed over with alcohol and cigarettes to a 16 and 17-year-old. So this saying it's checked every time, there's a thing in place, I don't think the system works at all. All you need to do is use someone else's mobile phone that's signed up with a card or credit card, registered to your parent, and you can basically order what you want. And if you're on that borderline, they are not checking because they are in a rush. They want the next delivery. They hand that bag over and away they go. So I strongly disagree with the sale of alcohol between the hours of 2300 hours and 7 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson. Kelly Charlesworth?
Okay, with all the noise, I've got an 8-year-old daughter. I'm going to be backing onto all of this. So if my daughter gets woken up throughout the night and she's going to school tired and the school gets on to me, who do I go to?
No. Yeah, that's not really a question.
And why do we need a 24-hour in a residential area? Why?
Yeah, it's a commercial decision. It's
Not the 24 hours,
it's not about need. Well, that's for this panel to decide whether or not that 24-hour licence is granted or not. Okay. So anybody else? The next lady, please. Is that Louise?
Yeah, it was just to confirm what one of my fellow residents has said. I have been in a situation, it wasn't me, because obviously I am over 25. Somebody under the age of 25, in fact under the age of 18, and it was ordered from Asda, and it was delivered by a third party, and there were no checks. But as you can hear, there's very strong feeling.
Yes.
There are lots of residents in the area who haven't been able to come today. There's very strong feeling against the 24-hour alcohol.
I can confirm that the petition is in here and every single statement for every single person.
Yes, I've seen it, thank you.
Is in the bundle, and we have all read them very, very carefully.
Thank you.
Okay, so rest assured on that account. I'm sorry, I didn't make a note of your name, sir.
Gavin Donoghue.
Thank you.
Right, the only thing I've got to say is that we're managing quite nicely without a 24-hour licence, so why do we need one now?
Sorry, come a bit closer to the mic, please, sir.
So we're doing quite nicely without 24-hour licensing at the moment, so why do we need one now?
Okay, yeah. All right, is that Catherine?
No, Julie Chambers.
Julie, I didn't ask you, did
No,
I?
that's fine.
Go ahead, Julie.
The postcode currently brings up Greendale Road. So an awful lot of the access is going to be past my house every night. And an awful lot of this, as Asda has said, they actually want them to be e-bikes and e-bikes. So these are probably some of the worst riders. They are the ones that will cause the antisocial behaviour. Yes, I know I'm repeating what others have said, but the current postcode is Greendale Road, not Arnavale Road. So that is an issue. I appreciate its planning, but the planning consent currently controls dispatchers as well. And I don't think the dispatchers are not allowed outside the hours of 9:30 to 3 o'clock and outside 4 o'clock till 1800. And nobody has yet said that Asda are prepared to comply with those.
Yes, they are. No, sorry. You did say
Yeah.
they are operating within the planet.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry if nobody heard or it got lost, but yes, Asda will comply with all of the planning conditions as they exist.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At the time, obviously, never say never, things may change in the future.
Okay, so please go ahead. Give me your name again, please. I've got a bit lost on my list.
Patricia Parker.
Thank you, Patricia.
Having previously worked for Royal Mail, I understand the importance of that postcode. The format of the postcode to gain entrance to the proposed entrance site on Arnavale Road should be NG5-4. The reason the postcode is NG5 6QD, Greendale Road, is because the original site for Sunny Home Farm, the access for it was actually on Greendale Road. So it's crucial because not only will articulated lorry drivers recognise Greendale Road as the entrance, as the ladies quite mentioned, other collection drivers through the day and through the night. There is, within a very short distance, a number of Asda Express stores with 24-hour licences. And I cannot understand why it's important to have it in a residential area when everywhere else is a commercial or a petrol station,
Yeah,
or
we've
it's on a very busy shopping road.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you.
If you just, I would probably say, I'm sure Mr Taylor's made a note about the postcode
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, I'm sure Mr Taylor, and he'll probably confirm this, has made a note about the postcode issue.
Absolutely. I mean, but the postcode is what it is at the moment,
Yes.
but postcodes can change. And at the moment there's an access, the postcode will change, and we will ensure that the postcode is correct.
It's important going forward
it's
for planning,
hugely
isn't it?
important.
Yeah,
We are not in the interest of upsetting anybody.
Yeah, no, it's just important that the correct one's on there for planning purposes as to who may or may not be notified going forward. Okay.
Is it the intention for the deliveries and the collections to be made from the entrance on Vale Road?
You've had your opportunity to ask questions. This was your opportunity to just make your representations.
In that case, I believe that based on the planning permission, that the intention was always that the entrance on Greendale Road was purely for servicing of fridges, freezers, etc., and for the bin men. So my assumption is that the collections deliveries are going to be on Vale Road. With the delivery drivers being on small vehicles, as we see now, taking children to school, they mount the pavement, they go round, and that I see no reason why that wouldn't continue, but only get worse if that licence were to be granted.
I believe you've answered this, Mr Taylor, but would you like to just have one more?
I mean,
stab at it, please.
as far as deliveries from the premises are concerned, and indeed deliveries to the premises, there are bays at the front in the car park, accessed off Arno Vale Road. And I'll take what Patricia says about planning. Planning is planning.
Thank you, Patricia. The gentleman behind, thank you.
Canis Doyle, Thetford Close. I'm an ex-co-op delivery driver, and if Asda's thinking of putting 45s trailers with six-legged axles, you won't go into that store.
Well, the answer is we're not.
So what size vehicle are you thinking of putting in?
Well, funnily enough, I asked this question yesterday. I said, will the store be serviced by big articulated wagons? And the answer is no. The convenience stores are serviced by smaller vehicles. Again, we're talking now about the deliveries of bread and milk and...
Well, I'm coming back to the licence in a minute.
All right, okay.
You want a licence between 2300 hours and 7 o'clock in the morning to prepare orders for your next day deliveries. Is that correct, sir? Yeah?
Sir, everybody's already had the opportunity to ask
Oh,
Mr
right.
Taylor
Okay,
questions.
okay.
If you want to make a representation, make a statement, then that's absolutely fine. But it's to do with the licensing objectives.
This is what I'm talking about, the licence. Why can't this licence, I don't want it there either, but why can't these orders be processed at the main store in Arnold? And then you've got a van that could go out the next morning, pick up the deliveries for that day, that's it.
Okay, Mr. Dorr, that's not a question. That's not a representation.
Okay.
Okay, the next lady, please. Would you like to speak on this? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And the lady at the end?
Yes, I agree a lot with what Patricia said, but you've got an house at the top of Woodthorpe Drive and you've got one in Arnold. Why would you want another one at the bottom of Greendale?
Yeah.
I can't understand that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that isn't a relevant consideration because that's not what we're dealing with here today. Okay, so everybody's made their representations. I know she's already had a hand, hasn't she? She's already had it. She wants another go.
Well, I think it's now for the
I will just let this one more, but it needs to be a representation, it needs to be relevant, it needs to not be something that we've already heard before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have actually looked at 24-hour licensing across Nottinghamshire, and in Gedling there are 5, as far as I can tell, that have been issued. 4 of them are all on busy main roads with garages, and 1 is, well, there's 4. They're with garages. When I look at that across the board, there are 58 across the whole of Nottinghamshire. The vast majority, 90% of them, are where garages are. Garages tend not to be in a residential area.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Taylor, do you have any questions for Mr. Buttle or for the residents?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Can I just respond to what some of the residents have said? I think Mr. Taylor will know this, and if you've read papers regarding this meeting, licensing panel is looking at 4 clear objectives here. The most relevant one, I think, is public nuisance. I think that's the one that you as residents are perhaps most concerned about. Yes, that there are concerns about crime and disorder, but that's not for us to judge, I don't think, at this point. It's mainly about public nuisance. And can I just say that I certainly haven't made my decision, and this panel hasn't made a decision yet. We will retire to do that. I was quite pleased to hear from Mr. Taylor that deliveries and collection will be through Arnvale Road rather than Greendale Road, and I'd like to think that's what residents are also pleased to hear. And the gentleman in blue there brought up the question I was going to ask about that a traffic management plan, and I think that's been answered. And I'm delighted that collections will be from the main road effectively, not through a residential. I do understand though, and I think another resident brought this up, if you're a moped or a scooter driver, you'll take the shortest route. So there is still a concern there. But I think if your suggestion about the postcode could be addressed, and Asda have sort of made the right noises that they will do something about that, hopefully a lot of that will be alleviated. So I'd like to think that residents have had some of their concerns answered by Asda, and I'm certainly not here as a representative of Asda, I'm a representative of residents. This gentleman wants to reply to me.
Thank you, Councillor Smith.
Obviously, you just mentioned the point that if we change the postcode, they are going to come to the Arnold Vale entrance.
They're going to do...
Any delivery driver that knows the area is still going to come down Greendale Road because there's parking bays at the bottom of Greendale Road in a turning circle. So if they're not going to drive all the way round when they can still come down Greendale Road and park at the bottom of the dead end, that will still be where the vehicles park, and then they will just walk because no driver is going to drive all the way round. Well, if he's coming from Arnold, he's not going to go all the way around. He's going to go straight down Greendale Road and park at the bottom. He won't even use the car park.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Okay, so do you want to come back on that, Councillor Smith? No.
No, I've just made note of what you said.
Thank you. Okay, so the applicant, is it you who goes next, or is it Terry? Is there anything you'd like to say in summing up?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered most of the concerns that I had.
Thank you, Mr. Buttle. And finally, Mr. Taylor, before we retire.
Sorry, thank you. Just very, very quickly, I circulated a couple of extracts from the Home Office guidance that I was going to refer to. And the first is this. It is shops, paragraph 10.15, shops, stores and supermarkets should normally be free to provide sales of alcohol for consumption off the premises at any times when the retail outlet is open for shopping, unless there are good reasons based on the licensing objectives for restricting those hours. And those words are replicated by your own statement. The next one I just wanted to refer to was 943, that determination should be evidence-based. And of course that comes from the case law, doesn't it? The Thwaites case, where we determine applications on the basis of evidence rather than concerns or not wanting things or whatever. And finally, I suppose, each responsible authority is to be an expert in their respective field. So against that backdrop, what is the evidence here? Is there any good reason, based on the licensing objectives, why these premises shouldn't be permitted the license that we seek? Or is there a reason to restrict the hours? Well, in favour of the grant, members of the committee, we've got this. We've got a large major operator with a spotless track record behind it. We have a company that's demonstrably working in conjunction with the police as far as issues of crime and disorder are concerned. And I think it is relevant here, the position of the responsible authorities. So I know we've got Mr. Buttle objecting, but all of the other responsible authorities, we've had issues about Challenge 25 and children. The child safeguarding don't object, licensing don't object, trading standards, nobody objects. Now, Mr. Buttle does object, and he has been very, very fair with us. What he has said is that he has no issues with daytime trade, effectively 7 till 10, concerns about the possibility of antisocial behaviour, but that we've addressed that, and he's been very, very fair about that. And he also said that there's been very few incidents of non-criminal antisocial behaviour. And what we don't have really is any evidence of any problems emanating from any ASDAs or any issues of deliveries. Against that, we've got a lot of people who don't like the idea. And we understand that, and it is for us really to get over that. So what I would say, what we've got on the other side is effectively fears and concerns of what might happen. And of course, we don't determine licence applications on those bases. So what I would ask you to do when you retire is split your consideration. Have a look at 7 till 10. We can open anyway, 7 till 10. The question is whether or not we can put a bottle of wine on a shelf and whether or not that is going to cause an issue. And I don't think we've heard anything here to say that that is the case. The second consideration is the hours from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. Now, these are hours that we cannot use and we cannot deliver. But with that aside, and bearing in mind we'd need to submit a planning application and it would be for the planners, is there any evidence that putting a bottle of wine or a pack of beers into that box that then gets delivered away would cause any issue at all? And we haven't actually heard any evidence that it would. We've heard a lot of conjecture, we've heard some scaremongering, and we've heard all sorts of unsubstantiated allegations, but we haven't had a shred of evidence really that it would cause a problem. And what we know, and what we do have very firm evidence of, is that we do this in 900 other locations without any difficulty whatsoever. So it's a matter of balance, isn't it? It's where does the truth lie in this? Now, if you find evidence that the delivery of alcohol through the night is going to cause a problem, then it is entirely your right to grant the licence for the hours that we can open. But in my respectful submission, that evidential threshold hasn't been passed. There is no evidence in front of this committee. And where the local residents do have some comfort is that we can't deliver anyway. We would need to make an application for planning, and it is the planning where this should be debated. Because, of course, it doesn't matter what's in the box, it's whether or not the box can be delivered at all. So that really should be a planning issue. So in all of the circumstances, and in the absence of any evidence whatsoever, I'd invite you to grant the licence in the terms sought, remind the residents, subject to us obviously sorting the postcode out, remind the residents that they always have the opportunity to review if any of their fears come to pass, and then leave it to the planners to determine in the future, if we ever go that far, whether or not we could utilise what you've granted us. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, sorry, no, that's it. I'm not taking any more representations or questions. Everybody's had ample opportunity in the correct
There's
procedure.
been no mention of the schools and the impact of the children.
I'm sorry, madam, you had the opportunity to bring that up and nobody's brought it up and we can't
It
rerun
came up in my representation.
It is in the papers and we have read it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all there and I must assure you we have read this inside out, back to front, upside down. Okay.
Can I ask that we do find out how many Asda Express stores that have a 24-hour licence are in residential areas?
I'm sorry, it's not relevant to this application. You might want to do that separately, but that's not relevant to this application.
In my opinion, it should be relevant.
That's your opinion. Okay, so now we're going to retire, discuss everything that we've heard, and then we'll come back in and deliver our decision. People can stay if they want to, can't they? Or will they be written to if they've done a written objection?
They'll be written to, yeah.
Okay. Everybody will be written to with the outcome of the hearing, so it's up to you whether or not you want to stay to receive the outcome or whether or not you want to leave and wait for the letter to come. Okay. So we'll make our way. Thank you. As you can tell by the amount of time we've taken, we've listened very carefully to all the representations, and it was a split decision. We are mindful that the Environmental Protection Officer's concerns were satisfied, and are also mindful of the good neighbour principle operating, and the, what was the other thing that it was called? The rider code of conduct. We take note of those. So we have decided to grant the licence for the agreed opening hours of 7 till 10, allowing for the sale of alcohol, of sales for 24 hours. As far as residents are concerned, I would just want to remind them that they do have the right to report any behaviours to the police or to the council if there are any antisocial behaviour incidents or noise nuisance. It's very difficult to evidence something that doesn't exist. So that is our decision. Thank you. Okay. Oh, full reasons for the decision notice will follow in due course to you and to residents. Thank you. This meeting is closed.